position to sink the ball better and have better command.
I understand that you hadn't seen as much of Paul Maholm before spring training. You faced him probably a couple times, but hadn't seen too much of him. What have you seen the difference, if anything, from when you first picked him up over the winter in spring training, saw what he was doing then, with where he is now? What sort of progressions has he made?
I actually saw him when he first came up. I've seen him probably a half dozen times, periodically, from being with Colorado. I think there was a rule where Colorado had to come to Pittsburgh twice a year for 3 years in a row, and we got to see all their starting pitchers. And early on, he was very effective. Kept the ball down, changed speeds well, arm side command, pitched in on occasion, but was just pinpoint with his control. I think what had transgressed over time was just a guy that kind of lost his way a little bit, maybe of who he was and what he needed to be. And in prepping for him last year in Texas, I saw a guy that I thought that we could have some opportunity to take advantage of. And that conversation that I had with my club, I basically had the same conversation with Paul, just sharing with him what I felt we were going to do to him, and what I felt now, having him as a part of our club, what we might want to counterpunch with as we moved into the season. From there, he's taken it all upon himself. I do believe he's re-identified some things, recreated himself. The pitching, the hitting report that you put together against him now is completely different than you would have put together on a year ago. Absolutely different, and he deserves credit for that. The mix of pitches is better. Glove side command to the right-handers is better, whether it be the four-seamer or the cut fastball in. The breaking ball has become a bigger weapon for him. He can still go arm side down through the changeup off that. And then conversely to left-handers, he's pitched inside with more effectiveness. And then he's used the breaking ball down and away, and he's front-doored it on occasion. So he's actually just the same. Most of the same parts are there. He's just rearranged the furniture with them and become much more effective.
Clint, 20 games in 20 days is challenging enough, but you come off this series where you've had 2 rain delays and 2 extra inning games. How does that add to the challenge of just staying fresh and not getting bogged down in the grind?
We're not caught up in that. Baseball players are built to play a large volume of games. And it's not like we came in here today and said, okay, let me see, how many innings have we played the last 4 days? How many rain delays have we had? We got other things to focus on. So I really don't think that comes into play. Every team gets challenged a number of times during the season with 20 games in 20 days. So for anybody to bring that up as a point, it's a distraction. It could be an excuse. We don't do either here. We actually had some guys that wanted to get out here today and hit early just because we had not had the opportunity to get on the field in Atlanta. And we are a team that still needs to coach and teach and learn during the season, even when it's hot. So we had some guys out there today that got some work in. We're good. We're good to go. The game will let us know how fresh we are. If we can get on base and run the bases a little bit, that'll help. I don't think we're looking forward to the challenge. It's not like we're getting a breather coming in here. We know that. Facing Holiday today, we'll go from there. And I think Lee's pitching tomorrow, and that's going to be a challenge. And then the guy pitching the third day, Worley, he's had a real good season so far. So we'll just take them one day at a time.
How's the bullpen in terms of availability?
I believe, we're going to have Joe go out and throw just because he got an up-down outing last night where he pitched an inning. He pitched to one hitter, sat down, went back out. McCutcheon's still down. Everybody else should be in play. Joe's still a question mark. McCutcheon's definitely a no. Danny and everybody else is available.
How long do you anticipate sticking with an 8-man bullpen now that you guys are getting healthier?
We'll take it one day at a time. I don't know what's in front of me tonight.
Just one more day on McCutcheon, or
one more day. Yeah, he threw 92 pitches, so we think it appropriate to give him 3 days now.
He can still pinch run, though, for you.
Can pinch run, can bunt.
As you look for more production at first base and right field, would Ryan Domit be an option either spots when he comes back, and is he going to get work at either of those?
He's not getting any work right now. Right now we're getting some catching work.
Okay.
And we're going to isolate on that first to get his legs underneath him. It has been an internal conversation. But again, I think we're best suited to take it one step at a time. And we have had that conversation. Actually, we had it in the coaching room a few days ago. But today he's DHing. Tomorrow he's catching, I believe, 9. Pinch hit on the 31st. try and catch him back-to-back days. You know, we're going to see Riz offensively. We're still waiting for his bat to spark, by the way. Right now, he's got some work to do. You know, just to get the bats and see the pitches. So.
You mentioned a couple weeks ago that demands in terms of trades were just exorbitant, very, very high. Have you all noticed that those are starting to come down now that we're 48 hours away, or are the asking prices still very, very high?
You know, I get copied on all Neil's emails, and I'm sure has he had a conversation with you yet? Has he responded?
Yeah.
We're on the same page.
Okay.
He's doing everything he can. There's not a general manager that is identified as a seller, or we think that's a seller, that we have not had contact or tried to have discussion with. He is the hardest working man in baseball right now, without a doubt, at least in my eyes.
From your experience, how does that keep from becoming a distraction? With 2 days to go, guys still might be wondering who's coming and who's going.
Well,
How do you keep that from happening?
If you knew our club, it would be easy answered, and I understand that you don't. We just don't deal with distractions. Whoever's in here is in here. The lineup goes up. Who's ever in the lineup plays. The other guys get ready to help during the game. We become very task efficient, and our focus is very acute on the day, and that's it. There's certain things in life that are out of your control. We don't spend time agonizing over them. We don't get anxious over them. We don't let them consume our day. So,
What is it about this team that allows you to do that, whereas other teams might get caught up in those distractions? Is it the mix of guys there? Is it your mentality?
it might be a little bit my mentality. I've been in some organizations that have had success, and I've been on some teams that haven't. And I've looked for staples that work and staples that make sense for the large group. The two things that we brought to the table immediately in minicamp, that we will not make excuses for anything, and we will not let distractions become a part of what we do. And they bought in, and they're great with it. Makes things simpler. We just really try to keep things simple. That's what we've really tried to do.